Rise and grind, everyone. This is Shane with redesignyourgrind.com, and in today's video, we're going to talk about how to properly price your products. Let's talk about that. This will be a multi-part video. Go ahead and subscribe and like our page to catch the rest in our next video. Let's dive right in. Today we are on WikiHow. We're looking specifically at how to price your products. This is extremely important for any entrepreneur. Pricing a product effectively can mean conversions or no sales at all. If your product is too high of a price, people will think that they're getting ripped off. If you don't charge enough, you're not covering your own overhead, and you're going to end up out of business faster than you know what to do. In the article here, it says how to price your product. Using an effective pricing strategy can be the difference between a hopping business and a dud. You've already done the work to come up with a killer product and an unforgettable hook for your business, so now you just need to price it accordingly. Learn to determine your overhead, raise and lower appropriately, and use promotional pricing to your advantage, and you'll be in the black in no time. This is extremely important stuff right here. Pricing your product effectively can mean the difference between a business that is in the black and a business that is horribly in debt. So part 1 of this article says determining overhead, and there's multiple parts to this. In this video, this is what we're going to be covering. Determining overhead. Number 1, calculate the cost of running your business. A basic pricing method requires that you determine the full cost of running your business and price your product in such a way as to keep your business in the black. So the first thing you need to do is calculate how much it costs to run your business. These costs can be further divided into direct and indirect costs. Add up your direct cost and indirect costs. So for direct costs, those are costs which are immediately associated with doing business. These costs get directly assigned to your products and services you provide. We're talking about labor costs here, what you have to pay your employees every day to keep the business running. Your marketing cost, any type of marketing, advertising, anything like that, there's a cost to it. Somebody's going to want to get paid for it, whether it be Facebook, if you hire a salesperson, or you get an article in a publication in your area, whatever the case may be, marketing costs are going to add up. And manufacturing cost. So manufacturing costs are the cost of raw materials, equipment, anything that you physically have to put money into to create your product. Indirect costs are things associated with keeping things running and in the day-to-day processes. These are sometimes thought of as the hidden or even true cost of running a business. Operating expenses, including rent on your building, utilities, whatever that may entail. Debt service cost, return on any investment capital, cleaning and office supplies, and of course your own salary. Now for some of us, we may not take a salary in the beginning, and a lot of times that's smart, especially if you have a way to offset your income and live a manageable life so that you can reinvest all the money that the company makes back into itself to grow. When it comes to direct and indirect costs, they can come in all different shapes and sizes. Every business model is going to be different, so you just need to figure out for yourself what your costs are. That's going to be your overhead, and this is going to be one of the most important things. As long as you make enough sales to cover your overhead and make a profit, you'll always be profitable. If those overhead costs start to stack up and you don't head it off, then you can very quickly fall into the trap of running an unprofitable business. And we're in business here. We're not running a nonprofit. Number 2, set a success point. The only reason to start a business is to make money, and specifically to make enough money to keep the venture a successful enterprise. For this reason, you need to set a point at which you would consider the business successful, your success point, and add that figure to your expenses to determine how much revenue you need to generate from sales. Once you know how much money you need to make the business to be successful, then you can start getting some sense of what a successful price would be for your product. It may take some number of years to master your market. I always suggest you do this when you're figuring out your business plan. While you're writing down your business plan, try to figure out all of your overhead and then figure out at what point you would consider the business successful and at what point, by the numbers, the business becomes profitable. If you're not profitable, it just may not be the right market for you or your product, so keep that in mind. Number 3, anticipate your customers' desires. Another major figure that you need to determine is how much merchandise you might reliably sell in a given period. This will be determined by your customers' buying tendencies. Identify your customer base and their buying tendencies. How much do they desire your particular product? Is there a demand for it? Be as specific as possible in your discussion of numbers. How much is it possible to sell given your current resources? How much do you need to sell to maintain the visibility and success of your current model? What might need to change? Divide your success point by the number of units you think might be reliably sold to determine a price guideline per unit. This isn't necessarily to say that this should be the price, but this is a good number to start experimenting with and seeing how your customer will respond. Provide genuine customer service, not just lip service. Your customer tendencies are going to be integral to figuring out whether or not your product is fairly priced or even a desirable product within your market. That's very important. You don't want to be selling something that nobody is buying. Having said that, once you divide your success number by the amount of products that you think you could sell, with your current resources being the important part, don't bite off more than you can chew. If you can only manufacture and sell a certain amount of products, don't try to do double that, because you'll end up in a position where you have negative cash flow, and that's never good in a business. Providing genuine customer service is extremely important. Any salesman, any entrepreneur can go out and promise the world to their consumer. A real salesman is going to show that they are the right choice by providing quality customer service and actually caring about their customers' needs. Number 4, study your competition. If you sell custom-made iPhone cases, are there other companies that provide similar services? Where? How much do their products cost? How is their company run? You need to learn everything you can about your competition so you can learn to differentiate yourself from their model to get your share of the common market. Say you're one of 2 frozen yogurt stands in your town, and you can't figure out why your $7 a cup, cheap for the ingredients, organic, coconut, raspberry, kefir isn't bringing in the masses, while the Dairy Queen down the street regularly sells chocolate cones like they're going out of style. You need to be familiar with their prices and their customer base so that you can stay competitive and stay relevant. Do you share the same customer base? Is there another customer base you might tap into and market to make your business more viable? Is anyone ever going to be willing to pay your prices? These are important questions for a successful business to consider when pricing. Use a search engine to research your competition. Social media and the internet have changed the ways customers find businesses. This is absolutely true. Social media and search engines have changed consumer behaviors. Nowadays, it's as easy as them Googling your company name or Googling the product that you're selling, and they can find your competition like that. And you don't want them to find your competition, you want them to find you. But moreover, you want them to find your product to be a quality product at a price that they feel is fair. Studying your competition can give you insight into your market that you wouldn't otherwise ever have, because like we discussed in our last video, you only know what you know. Going and taking the time to research your competition, figure out what they're doing well or what they're not doing well, and adapting your business model to that is going to be integral in really cementing yourself as a subject matter expert or a premium product in your market. Okay guys, that was part 1 of how to price your products off of WikiHow. I totally agree with all of this, and I would not have read this article if I didn't think that it had a lot of information that was relevant to the entrepreneur right now. So I really hope that some of this helps you. In part 2, we're going to talk about raising and lowering prices. So stick with us, subscribe to the channel, and we will go ahead and release that video next Friday. I hope that you enjoyed this information, and I hope it was relevant to you and your business. If you have any questions, comments, anything, you can go ahead and email me at redesignyourgrind@gmail.com or comment down below, and I will make sure to respond to every comment. Make sure to like our Facebook page if you want to keep up to date with everything that Redesign Your Grind is doing. And we will see you in the next one to Redesign Your Grind. Thanks for watching.